What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another live edition of the Countdown City Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this live stream is the one and only Retro Ray,
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back.
and we also got the man, the myth, the legend next to JC, Big Mike.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here. Coming over from the WrestleCast.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
It's been a crazy month, right? Like June was just bonkers, like
Yes.
out of the gate. We had title matches at local events. It was just madness. And then to top it all off, we had arguably the biggest event of the year here in San Antonio, Superhero Comic Con. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Please join the chat if you would like to share your thoughts about it as well. Give us your favorite moments, your favorite panels, your favorite guests that you met. And then we have our very special giveaway announcement. If you visited our booth, we partnered with Super X to give away some very limited edition rare Power Ranger athletic wear. We're going to pick the winners live tonight. So let's get into it, guys. First of which, Superhero Comic Con was such a it was a big challenge for a lot of reasons. For us, mainly because it was the first time ever. It was 4 days, not 3. I didn't know exactly how that was going to play into everything. And I'll be honest with you, and there's video evidence of this. After Thursday, I was like, wow, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Thursday was such a long day, and it's like this is day one. We're not even, a quarter of the way through this thing, so I was kind of worried and all that. But 4 days, the most panels that we've been involved with, a lot of changes on the fly that happened kind of last minute that we were able to kind of figure things out, schedule changes and whatnot. But weather sometimes, I think the first day there was some torrential rain downpour. Luckily, like no major issues with result to that. But Mike, we'll start with you, man. Overall, you've been to a few of these now. How do you think this superhero 2024 matched up against prior events that we've been a part of?
I mean, it was amazing. It was fun. Like you said, the 4 days though really did change things up because by Saturday afternoon, like I felt like I was done. Like you didn't think Thursday was gonna be. You're like, oh, it's Thursday. Most people do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Might not be like people were there. Like I'm not saying it was as crowded as Saturday, but people were showing up on Thursday. We had some things right off the bat. Like you had some panels and stuff on Thursday, and people just kind of jumped in. So it was fun. There wasn't as much of a wrestling presence for us, but the presence of everything else. Because again, even though we're from the WrestleCast, we are geeks at heart, and there's a lot of other things we're into as well. So some of that stuff we're going to get into was amazing, and yeah, just a fun overall weekend. Lots, got to take pictures with, and just got to meet and handshake a lot of celebrities. Just as they're walking past, or as they're coming off the interview. So really cool. Yeah.
Ray, same question, man. I think this might. Were you at Superhero last year as well?
Yeah,
Ray?
last year I was there. The year before I wasn't. I don't know how David and Mike and you did it, being there all 4 days. You and Mike, and then getting there early. David getting there early. I don't know how you guys did it. I was only there half day Friday, but sitting at the booth, and then Saturday and Sunday. But it was because of my boot. But I was worn out with just that. You guys were running around kind of like crazy, just going back and forth. I don't know how you guys did it. It was fun. Everything. The best part about it, I love getting to meet, artists that I've worked with in the past, seeing new projects that they're working on. Like Phil Salazar was doing a new Godzilla cover that I didn't know about until I met him at the convention. Of course, David Finch was there. I mean, of course, celebrity guest as well. it's just there was so much to take in, so much cool stuff, cool swag. I don't know, man. It, it was just a whirlwind for those 3 days for me.
It was a lot. It it's hard to say and talk about without kind of showing everybody. Which there's gonna be some behind the scenes videos like coming up really really soon. We're kind of putting some finishing touches on one of the longer ones. It's gonna be a two-parter, but we really want to kind of show people kind of all that goes into it, and it really captures like how many moving parts are involved. So we'll get there in the morning and we'll set up and our part is for our booth is done, but we have the stage production team we got to like collaborate with. And then we have like the promoters people that we need to talk to for like the guests that we're going to have. And then you're talking to like the opening acts like the Texas Blues Brothers, making sure they're good. And then I collaborated with them a little bit, did some of their announcements. And then just throughout the weekend, things happen, things change. You're dealing with different reps from all of these celebrities. You're dealing with the facilities people, talking to them about like things that need to happen here and there. um it's bonkers. And so also like our discussions on the team, like talking to Mike, talking to our videography group, led by Brian, who was running around everywhere with his team. Like we're gonna get all into that kind of stuff, and I think it's fascinating. I hope people just kind of see like a little bit what happens behind the scenes and all that. So can't really wait to talk about that. I think we all have several highlights. I will say this was my favorite event, that not only that we've been a part of, but like that our city has seen. We've had conventions before. GameStop did like a convention here once that was pretty big, like 10 years ago. PAX South rolled through here like two or three times. So we've had a good number of like conventions of this size and magnitude. This was my favorite, and not just because we were part of it, but just because of all of the big moments that happened. I felt like you just put it right over the top. So there's a bunch that we can kind of talk about, but if I'm gonna pull up some of these videos here, that way we can actually see some of those that happened. So I will say the first one that really stuck out to me was my panel with Ernie Hudson. Ernie is great.
Mhm.
Ernie is great all the time. And my first panel with him, I think it was on a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday
Okay.
early afternoon, and just the energy was already there. We had brought out the Texas chapter Ghostbusters groups that are with us. We had folks from Dallas, we had folks from Austin, we had folks from San Antonio. There might have been one or two other folks that we threw in there that were kind of just visiting from other chapters that weren't really expected to like hang out, whatever. But we brought them in. We're like, hey, hang out with us. It's all good. And the energy was just there. And Ernie, I'm not gonna say like, he'll just do whatever you ask him to, but if I give the man an idea, and I'll talk about this later on as well. If I give the man an idea, he's always up for it, and sometimes he even like makes it better. So the one thing we did was we had a bag of like plush Ghostbuster um ghosts and like demon terror dogs and stuff, and Slimer and Stay Puff. And I was like, "Here, this is for you." And he goes, "What do I do with this?" I'm like, "Just chunk them. As soon as you get on stage, just start chunking them." And he, again, I'm just thinking he's gonna walk up and just start throwing stuff, but no. Instead, he walks up and then he gets on the mic and he says something to the effect of, I he says something right away, and he's like, I apologize because I don't got these things for you guys, but I can give you this. And he just starts chunking these monsters up into the crowd, and they start going wild. And the crowd went, frantic over what was being thrown at them, which is more than I could have hoped for. And then he had the fifth one. He had like one last item to throw out, and this is such an Ernie thing. One of my chapter members had his little girl on stage, and she's like 4. She's just like the cutest thing you've ever seen. He pretends to throw it, and instead he just bends down and like gives it to her. And you heard half the people in the crowd groaning, and I said, and the other half was like clapping. I was like, no, 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 y'all gotta clap for that. So everybody was like, yep, that's Ernie Hudson right there. So that was my first kind of big moment, was just being on stage with Ernie, having that moment, throwing stuff out, which we've never really tried before. I know it doesn't seem like a big elaborate idea, but just kind of works. And giveaways from celebrities on stage is something that I'll probably be doing more often. Nobody take my idea, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Mike, what was sort of the first big moment that sticks out to you? And I'm gonna start finding some of these videos here to
I'm trying to remember
show.
what the order was, but I think for me, if I remember, your first panel, or the one that I was really excited for, was the Tom Welling, John Snyder one.
Yeah.
And I've never, well, I guess I've never seen either of them in person before. So when Tom Welling walked up with his cowboy hat, it was kind of like, oh, you know what? I know it's art. I know it's like 20 years or whatever, 15 years since like you got the role, but I get why they chose you for Clark Kent, to be Superman. Because that guy, he just has an aura. Like he walks in, you're like, oh, I would never mess with that guy. Not that but he looks so nice, and he's so like accommodating that like he wouldn't start anything, but that dude just had a presence. And then John Snyder too. I texted my dad while we were there, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I just got to shake hands with Bo Duke, or whichever one he was." And of course, my dad's like, "Well, Daisy Dukes wasn't there." I was like, "No, no, sorry, just Bo Duke. I think is the one he was." But yeah, they were both nice. Got to shake their hands after the show. But that was really cool. I know. Well, JC was in Orlando with his family at Disney, so I know he wasn't too sad, but I know he does a little bit for missing that. But that was really cool. Ernie was really cool. And then I know in a little bit we'll all get to your big Friday night one with Andy Serkis. But that's something we all need to get into. But yeah, those are great.
Yeah, what about you, Ray? What are some of the early events, early panels, or early moments that really stuck out to you?
Well, I mean, I missed the Tom Welling, and I wish I could have been there. I'm a huge Smallville fan. I mean, if I would have known he was coming to San Antonio eventually, I ended up driving to Houston because that was, I guess, like his second appearance that he had ever did. And I went there because I was like, I don't know if he's ever going to do more shows. So I literally went there to have him sign an art print back in the day. But I wish I would have waited now to be here in San Antonio. I wouldn't have had to drive, to go over there. But that show, I love Smallville. Tom Welling. I got to see the panel on YouTube. Great panel. Two great guys. It's kind of funny. I'm, knowing that he had turned down the role at the beginning, and they had, approached him a couple of times, and he actually took it. And at first, when I first saw the show, I was kind of worried at the beginning because this was a different spin on the story, and without that show, we would have never had these other shows, the Arrowverse and all that, without that particular show taking place and doing it as well as it did. I feel we wouldn't have had, what came after that. But the show, I mean, like I said, the panels were great. I mean, the ones you hosted, um, getting this, like you said, getting to see the celebrities who didn't want to be driven to come to the back, walk through, right by our booth sometimes. That was fun. Because like I said, I didn't get to leave the booth very much because of my boot and stuff. But the one time I did get to go, Jason Palmer wasn't able to go meet Dr. Peter Cullen. I mean Peter Cullen, Peter Weller.
Peter
And
Weller.
and basically he wanted to present him with an art piece that he had did for the show. And I was able to go give it to him, and seeing Peter's face when I presented it to him, and he's like, "Did you draw this?" I was like, "No, this is my buddy. My buddy who's an artist. He's an artist alley," and he was like, "Oh man, I love this." He goes, "I haven't seen something like this before." That's what I really love is when people see their artists' work presented to them. That's so cool, and seeing a celebrity kind of freak out seeing it because they haven't seen it before.
Yeah, there's
You
a handful of celebrities that were walking through the expo floor. I know Aman Vellani did it. Andy Serkis. I was like, whose bright idea was it to walk Andy through the entire convention? But that's just kind of who they are. Oh gosh, is that official? Don't say it. Is that official? You can't just put that
No.
out there, Dave.
No, he got
It,
waved by the Warriors.
yeah, he
But
got waived, but I doubt that's official because I don't even think it technically starts till what tonight at like 9 or something, like official free agency. But
it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting free agency this year.
yeah,
It sure is. Speaking of Andy, there's so many moments. I really want to talk about David Ramsey, who was just like so open, so down to earth, so genuine,
hold on.
so funny.
I'm sorry, it may be true.
Is it true?
Free agent star Chris Paul intends to sign with the San Antonio Spurs.
You're lying.
No
According
Who's
to
reporting that? Who's reporting that?
sources tell NBA on this is from Reddit, NBA on TNT and Bleacher Report.
Dude.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, but it seems legit.
Okay, me and Mike were actually just at the draft party a few
We
days
were.
ago. And remember I said we needed a vet, point guard, or center. I did say center first. I'd rather
Yeah.
take a vet center, but a vet point guard is not a bad idea as well.
It looks like simply a 1-year, $11 million deal.
Wow.
So what I think happens is he starts. Castle comes off the bench behind him. Wow, sorry, not to turn this into a sports podcast, but that is some interesting breaking news. Wow.
Hey, just because we're geeks doesn't mean we don't like basketball and football.
No,
Wow,
exactly.
that is from Woj. Woj has
Yeah.
done it. Yeah, reported it. Wow, that's bonkers. Wow. That's all I'm gonna keep saying. Wow.
Dude, I can't wait to listen to Six Trophies to see what they talk about this because, getting to hear Shay talk about it, if they do it tomorrow, it's gonna be, or when they record, it'll be awesome.
Well, last thing I'll say is I just look forward to all the alley oops to Victor then because that should be fun.
Exactly. Okay, I'll try to get my
Yeah, I'm
brain
sorry.
back on
Yeah.
track. No, it's all good. That's mind boggling. David Ramsey was just so down to earth, so open, so genuine,
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. He by far had the biggest laugh of the weekend. And if you guys don't remember what it was, I got, I got a video coming out maybe tomorrow regarding a joke that happened on the set of Arrow, like in the first season, that like
Oh, I do
was
remember that now.
so hilarious. And so I'm teasing it now, but tomorrow I'm going to post the behind the scenes video. And it includes David Ramsey telling us the funniest thing he's ever done on set to get Stephen Amell to break character
Yeah.
while filming on the set of Arrow. It was hilarious.
Also,
And that's set the tone for the entire weekend. Just the feel good moments, the energy, the excitement, all that stuff. All started with David Ramsey.
yeah, can we just say that dude is jacked?
Yes.
Like,
Dude, he would have been an awesome
phenomenal
Green
shape.
Lantern. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. If in the Arrowverse, it would have been cool to see him as a Green Lantern. But the cool thing is, he's just didn't just do Arrowverse, but he's also going to be coming out in the White Dragon later this year. Who he got to work with Jason David Frank, and the Bat in the Sun production. So that's going to be cool to get to see that later this year,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Okay, so we were talking a little bit about probably the biggest moment of the weekend, which involved Andy Serkis. If you haven't seen it, we're gonna give it to you.
Priceless.
We're gonna give it to you right here, right now. So I'm gonna make sure I can get this I'm gonna try this one first. Yeah, it's fine. All right. So let me kind of, I'll show it real quick, set the stage a little bit, and then I'll talk to you about how this came about, because this was an idea I had weeks in advance, and it worked out better than I ever imagined it would. So I hope it's gonna sound okay. I'm gonna mute myself just in case, but here we go. The biggest highlight of Superhero Comic Con involved Andy Serkis, and here it is right now.
Awesome, awesome.
Everybody heard that, right?
Yeah.
I know it's really short. I wish it had captured a little bit of the before and the after. There's some videos out there that might have done that, but Andy, being just the amazing individual he is, um, talks in Gollum's voice and says, "We loves you, San Antonio, my precious." And the reason this happened is years in the making. So I've been to San Diego Comic Con a handful of times in my life, and I believe it was the night before the Black Panther Hall H presentation. Andy was in attendance. We're all camping out the night before Hall H. It's a Friday night, and there's a lot of commotion going on. It's the middle of the night. It's like 12:30, 1 a.m. It's Andy. Andy is starting at the front of the line, and he's walking through. Some people are waking up. Not everybody was. And he's shaking hands with fans. He's taking photos. Maybe he's signing autographs. I'm not really sure. But he gets to us. We're like maybe the fifth row or sixth row in line. And we're talking. And then somebody behind me says, do the Gollum voice, do the Gollum voice. And so Andy looks at my son, who's about 10 at the time, and he asks him his name, and he says to him, "Oh, my name's Aiden." So then Andy, in his Gollum voice, says, "Hello, Aiden, my precious." And I can't do it justice, obviously,
Sure.
but to hear it in person, it like it sends shivers throughout your body. You get goosebumps everywhere, and it's so terrifying to see it like with the naked eye. And so I wanted to have a room full of people at Superhero get that same feeling as I did all those many years ago. So I'm trying to think about how I'm going to ask him. I don't want to ask him in front of everybody because that ruins the whole surprise. So you can't tell unless you're watching the whole video. But towards the end of the panel, I'm watching the clock. I'm typing on my phone what I want him to do. I'm like, hey, in Gollum's voice, can you say this? I can't use my right hand, which I'm right-handed because I have the mic in my right hand. So I'm doing a really bad job using my left hand. But I got by, obviously. And so when the panel's over, we go to hug, and I whisper in his ear, "Can you do a favor for me?" Which I guess could be weird in most cases. But he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, what do you need?" And I show him the phone, and it says, "Can you do in Gollum's voice?" What I had requested was, "Can you say thank you, San Antonio, my precious?" And he decided to change it up, which he's completely in the right doing. And he changes it to "We loves you, San Antonio," which is a much better line. I should have thought of that. And then he says the "my precious" at the end. And as soon as he said, like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this," I wanted folks to be prepared. So I told the entire crowd, this is the part that's missing
Just
from
I
the beginning of
remember.
the
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
It's all good. I told everybody, nobody move. And you could hear a pin drop as soon as I said that. It got all quiet. I said, take out your phones. And then you start hearing the rumblings like, oh, what's about to happen? What's about to happen? And then I couldn't think of what to say fast enough, but I said, I said, take out your phones, and I promise you, you're gonna love this for the rest of your life. I probably should have said cherish. Either way, he did the Gollum voice, and it went off better than I could have imagined. And the crowd erupted. They loved it, and I loved it. You could see the excitement on my face as he's doing it. And that was like the biggest moment of the weekend, if not the biggest moment in San Antonio history. I've been to a lot of these things in here in San Antonio. I can't remember a bigger time. Um, like the Giancarlo Esposito, Charles
Yeah.
Xavier thing was huge, but it it didn't have the nostalgic impact because we all know Gollum, we know his voice, and it's so rare to hear it in person. So
Mhm.
the Esposito news was massive, it for different reasons. This was big because like this is our youth. This is our decades in the making. So it hit it hit pretty huge. What were you guys thinking when all this is going down? Because I don't know if I told y'all what I was planning on before I went up on stage.
I
I
don't.
don't.
I don't think
I
you
don't think you
did
did
because
because
I think
I think
Aiden had
Aiden
already
had already
put away
put
like
away
his
like his
camera and
camera and
stuff
stuff
because he
because
was
he was
recording. Because
recording.
I'm
Because
pretty
I'm
sure
pretty
that's
sure that's
my
my
video.
video.
Yeah, it is. That this is your
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because you
Because
said
you
get your
said get your
phones out. And I
phones
had
out,
an
and I had an
idea, and I was
idea,
like,
and I was like,
okay.
okay.
And
And
yeah, I
yeah,
think
I
Aiden
think
was like,
Aiden was
oh,
like,
my
"Oh, my
camera or
camera or
something,
something,"
and
and
a few
a
other
few
people
other
got
people
around.
got
But I was like, I
around. But I
got
was
to
like, "I
get
gotta
this.
get this."
So yeah,
Yeah,
and it
and
was
it
super
was super
cool. It's
cool. It's
reliving that,
reliving
and
that,
I'm
and
so
I'm
glad
so
the
glad the
audio came
audio came
out
out
on it because
on it because
I was a little bit off
off
stage, and it was
stage, and
just
it's
my
just my
phone.
phone. So
So yeah, I was gonna say I keep hearing myself double. So, but yeah, no, it was super cool. Like a moment you're gonna yeah, that's what's going on. Just a moment that I'm gonna remember, like you said, like it is something that you always remember because um, from Gollum, from Lord of the Rings, which is one of my favorite series that I rewatch every year. The extended editions, and he even took it into the Hobbit, and then all that stuff, and then Star Wars stuff. David there in the chat also very professionally and knowledgeably let us know during that it is no longer motion capture that he does; it's performance capture because it's gone far beyond just the articulation of his body, movements of his limbs. It's the whole face and everything. So
The whole shebang.
just give him credit for that.
Ray, where were you when that moment happened?
I was just off stage. I actually got a photo between the curtains when you're on stage with them. I was gonna post it later, but I hadn't posted it yet. But it's basically you standing right next to him, and then you see the curtain kind of cracked like that, and it's an awesome photo to me. And when I saw that, it was pretty cool. And like you said, we grew up with as Gollum. You know what I mean? And not just that. I mean, he's transferred over to Star Wars, the Avengers. I mean, so he's everywhere. So
Everywhere.
yeah. So
Marvel, DC, Planet of the Apes,
yeah,
Star
that
Wars,
yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
King Kong.
Yeah. And it was just so cool. And then, not just that, getting the whole team able to take a photo with them at the end, to me, that was so cool because, without you, Ted, you know, this team wouldn't be the team that we are without you. You created Countdown City Geekcast, and you putting this team is like putting the Spurs together. You picked each of us, and we each have a specialty. And without us, and you as the leader putting this together, we wouldn't have been able to put this together and be a part of this. You know what I mean?
So I'm like the Spurs GM, is what you're trying to say. I'm the Countdown City Geeks
You're
GM.
either Pop or Brian Wright or maybe I forget the other guy.
But yeah, I mean, it's the truth, though. I mean, and it was cool, just all of us in that photo. It was just so perfect. You know what I mean? And Brian, the work he does is so great in general. I wish I could do what he can do. That's something that, yeah, something I could do. But I mean, he's just great. He knows how to take the photo angles, the videos. I mean, that's just great. Perfect
Look at
team.
your son's puffy hair blocking my face. That's probably better. It makes the picture a little bit nicer.
Zach says, "Get a room."
Hey, we were
Welcome,
in that
Zach.
little hidden room, right? No.
This is the photo you were talking about, and the cool part about Andy, just like the nicest dude you'll ever meet. He shook everybody's hand, and then I think it was either me or somebody else, said, can we do a quick group photo? Knowing that he has a limited amount of time, I said, let's get a group photo. But he offered to take a photo with everybody individually. And some of y'all were like, maybe we should. But I'm like, the dude's got limited time. Let's just get this over with real quick.
There was
And
definitely
so,
an angel devil on the shoulders when that was thrown out there. Like, oh no, we can't do that, Tim. Yes, we can, but
yeah, he's just,
no, he was
man,
awesome. And the story of he wasn't supposed to be there until the next day, but he flew like 13 hours from England or whatever,
from
showed
England,
up
yeah.
in like 3 hours before and made his way to the con. Like that's just like, they don't have to, right? Like with all they've done, the celebrities they are, like no one would have been really upset. I mean, we would have all understand if he showed up the next day, just got started, but like that's really cool of him, and that's something we'll always remember. So
Yeah, so I think I might get this wrong, but he was initially supposed to be there Saturday, Sunday.
I think so, right?
And then he had to cancel Sunday because his shooting schedule changed. I guess it's for the Batman because they're shooting. They might be shooting in England, around there, Europe area. So instead of only being there one day and potentially not having the panel, because that's also an option. Let's be clear about this. Panels are not the most important thing to anybody, not the promoters, not the celebrities. Meeting with the fans is priority number one. So he flew straight from the UK, landed, and went straight to the venue on Friday in order to meet with as many people as possible. And we had the panel scheduled at the very end of the day on Friday, which
Mhm.
is which added a fifth panel to my Friday day, which was
Yeah.
a lot. But still great on him, and I won't ever forget that. Him doing that, flying all this way just to add more time to meeting with the fans, which he's again one of the absolute best, and you can clearly see why. So yeah, we had a ball um meeting him. It was really awesome. Never gonna forget it, honestly. My favorite panel ever. Not to mention he just like was a rock star. As soon as he
Yeah.
came out, fans went nuts. He was eating all that energy up. He was giving it back to them. Like it was just, it's awesome to kind of be there watching it, but to kind of feel it, see it happening in real time, and kind of able to not manipulate the energy, but like I really try and keep the energy level high throughout panels when possible. If we start high, I want to keep it as high as possible throughout. And that panel was like almost high peak throughout, start to finish. Felt really awesome. It was really amazing.
No.
Let's see, Sam Witwer. I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch the Sam Witwer one as well. That was also one of my favorites. That
Yeah.
I
was
wanted to
really
be there
early
for that one.
on. That was really early on in what's it called? I think it was might have been Friday, the first Friday one we had. Jose from General Kenobi's bunker jumped on stage with me. Not to go too much into the stuff that led up to it, but um, we didn't know. I've never met the guy before, and I haven't heard too much about his convention appearances. I know he's done a lot, but when we first met him, he 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 seemed like he was not comfortable, either because he doesn't like, being in front of crowds, or I don't know what it was. I didn't ask, but we're just like, all right, we're gonna get through this. But he just seemed slightly uncomfortable before we started. And then we went out, announced him, and from there, I feel like he really settled in, and
Yeah.
he got more comfortable as kind of the panel went on, answering a ton of questions. And then something that Jose and I had talked about was having him recite his iconic Kenobi Darth Maul line. Um, and we didn't ask him directly. I think just because like we weren't sure. But then a fan had asked him to do it himself, and that slightly took the pressure off of us. And Sam was willing to do that for the fan because Darth Maul was his favorite character, um, and also it was his first convention. Shout out to Big John. Where are you at, John? You absolutely helped us out by asking Sam to do this. So real quick, here is that moment right now. Sam Witwer reciting his infamous, iconic Kenobi line.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna blow up my voice. Oh my god. Lost. I'm lost. But I can see him in my mind's eye. Kenobi. Kenobi!
San Antonio, make some noise for the one and only Sam Witwer! Standing ovation, standing ovation. Just the crowd went absolutely nuts when that moment happened. For a lot of fans, it was like uh almost as big as Andy as Gollum, just because like Sam Witwer has been in so many Star Wars projects, and that's probably his most iconic line that he's ever done. And so seeing it happen, and just the manner in which he did it, because if you all notice, the first thing he does is he covers his eyes. And me and Kenobi both, like, our hearts skipped a beat. Just because like it's like, oh my god, he's getting like really into this right now. And we kind of just, it took us back, for a second, just because we didn't know what was happening. But yeah, he covered his eyes, like almost like fell into the character real quick, and then did the rest of it. And it was epic. We talked to him afterwards too, and he said, I usually don't do that, but because it was that kid's first, not kid, but that guy's first con, he was, more than happy to do it. So again, shout out to Big John, who made that moment happen. It was really epic. Mike, where were you when that happened? Were you nearby?
Yeah, no, I was there. I was near stage. And the funny thing is, kind of taking this back to Smallville, like I kind of know him more from being Doomsday on that, and then being Star Killer in the Force Awakens games. Because I honestly, like, I'm a Star Wars fan, but not nearly as much as Star Wars stuff or you guys or Bunker. So I haven't consumed all the the kind of animated stuff that's out there where he kind of came back to be Maul
Yeah.
and really grew with that. But so it's funny you mentioned that he seemed a little uncomfortable at first, because when I saw him kind of cover his eyes, in my head I was like, oh no, like he feels like weird doing this in front of people or whatever. And then later Kenobi's like, no, he was getting, like, that's what the character does in the scene. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, then I don't feel so bad. But no, that was super cool. And I do know, even though I'm not like as much into some of that, what he means to those people who do consume all the Star Wars content and the stuff he did with Maul, and the way they kind of brought his story back to Obi-Wan Again, I'm familiar with it and what has happened. So, really cool of him to do that. Um, I'm glad he was, not upset about it, and that like you said, Big John got him to do that. So, for most of those panels, except for I think maybe Saturday, I was usually either backstage or there on the side of the stage. So, another cool moment from the weekend.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Ray, did you get a chance to catch that one?
I did catch it later. I wasn't there for that one, but I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, he
Mm.
just didn't do Smallville. He did Supergirl, Being Human. Um, I mean, he's just done so much great work. The first time I got to meet him was here in San Antonio at a small convention off of Marbach. It was in that little shopping center way back.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
over like 13 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm talking about small event. So I got to meet him, got him to sign my Doomsday poster. Cool guy. Um, but yeah, that was cool. I mean, this was I think it was just happening the Clone War stuff at that time, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it was cool getting to see you guys on stage and him doing that. And he doesn't just do that. I mean, if people don't know, I mean, him and his brother do D&D books. So I mean, his work is just crazy, dude. It was a great thing seen on the stage.
Yeah, doing the research on him, the guy studied at Juilliard. Like he knows his stuff, and he didn't finish at Juilliard, but it wasn't because like he wasn't good enough. It's just like it wasn't his cup of tea. He's like they Juilliard trained you kind of for a specific actor or a specific role for entertainment, and he didn't want to kind of be boxed in. He wanted to do voiceover, he wanted to do other things. So he was just like, yeah, I need more flexibility, and because I want to do different things. So he left, and he's all the better for it. He kind of took the things that he needed, and he went out and created an entire career for himself. Arguably one of the biggest Star Wars fans ever.
Yep.
There's a legendary story that while filming, I believe it was Clone Wars, um, there was a moment or a scene he was filming, and the way it was written, it broke canon, and Whitwer called it out in front of like the crew and Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni couldn't believe that he had missed this continuity error. So he's like frantically going through like, history of things and whatnot. And sure enough, he was right. Like Sam Witwer out fanned Filoni. And now it's this like legendary folklore tale because no one's ever been able to do that since. But Sam pulled it off. And it's awesome to see when Star Wars fans are a part of projects. Chris Bartlett, who does a lot of the droids, he was C3PO and a lot of the recent projects, is also one of those guys who he grew up as a fan, kind of building droids in his garage, and then Lucasfilm or Lucas, one of them, Lucasfilm came a knocking and were like, "Hey, we heard you build droids, and they look awesome." Um, and he also does voiceover work, so it's so cool when you meet these Star Wars fans that are so passionate about the lore, and they also, are part of all these projects. All right. We're gonna take a break right here. Ed's in the chat saying, "What's up? What's going on, Ed?"
What's up,
Take a
Ed?
break right here, and I think we should do our giveaway winners. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, dude, we had a lot of cool sponsors that gave us some cool stuff and stuff to give away for the event. But Super X really outdid themselves with giving us this cool stuff to give away.
I think it's about that time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you were at our booth at Superhero Comic Con, there's a good chance you signed up for one of our Super X Power Ranger giveaways. We have a few items that we're going to give away right here, right now. So, without any further ado, real quick, shout out to Super X for providing these things. I won't grab them all, but let me at least grab the Black Ranger hoodie. This thing is so awesome.
Yeah. So Super X, if you guys don't know Super X, go check them out on Instagram. They just made a big announcement of working with Marvel, and they just posted their first, I guess, outfit they're going to be doing, which is the Wolverine and Deadpool. Go check it out. It looks
That should
so
be
freaking
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. You shared
All
that
right.
with me. That was really cool.
So again, we had raffle for the Power Rangers athletic wear, um, provided by Super X. These things, they feel great. They look incredible. They are very high quality. Of course, you got the Ranger logos, like a few places. You got the power coins on the back of this is the Black Ranger hoodie. I'm gonna try to get it in the whole shot here. This
Cover
is the
your
black.
face. Just put it in front of.
This is the Black Ranger hoodie. This one's a large, and we're gonna draw for the winner right now. So everybody's watching me as I do this. I wanted to be completely transparent in this, so just gotta remember how to open these things. What else can I say about this? This is also limited edition. There are very few of these made. Correct, Ray?
Yes. So the I think that actually goes with the Pink Ranger pants. It's a one of 199. That one goes with the Power Ranger Pink Ranger pants. But yeah, there was only a limited run when they did this. So that was the beginning of their licensing, was starting with that first version, and then they went to the Green Ranger, and then they went. Now they're actually doing shorts and shirts. Um, so the line's expanding. So which is pretty cool. And I found them on Instagram and fell in love with the stuff that they were doing. And it was cool that they, you know, interacted with us and stuff like that.
They're awesome, and they looked impressive when you see the ads for them. But to like see them up close and to like hold them and feel the material, how like soft it is, I need my own. I need my own. And they just announced the Deadpool Wolverine line that's coming out, and that Wolverine one looks sick. Like the
Yeah.
Wolverine top and bottom look absolutely incredible. But enough talk, because I know you guys want to find out who won. So we're gonna start off with the Black Ranger hoodie, and there's a bunch of tickets in here. I'm not gonna see who it is. Basically, we're gonna announce the name of the winner, and then you will be contacted at a very recent time. Elizabeth S. Hunger, you are the winner of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Black Ranger hoodie from Super X. Round of applause for Elizabeth.
Hell
All right. We
yeah.
also have the Yellow Ranger hoodie and the Pink Ranger pants. They're separate giveaways, right? And
Yes.
all the raffle people are in the same box, right, Ray?
Yes.
Is this one taped?
Yeah, I taped them so they wouldn't fall out and we wouldn't lose any of the entries.
There you go, Ted.
Well, I mean, okay, we can, while you're doing that, we'll give shout out to our sponsors. So Super X wasn't the only one that helped us out. Flicks Brewhouse gave us tickets to give away. Matanga's Pizza gave us gift cards to give away as well. And of course, we can't forget Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair gave us gift cards to give away. Without them, we had their Plinko game board that we used as well. Dragon's Lair is great. You know, if you want to go there for gaming, comics, that's a place you want to go. And then we can't forget Real Retro. Anything old school from vinyls, DVDs and Blu-rays, guys. You're gonna want to go by there and check it out because physical media is going away. So DVDs
Yeah,
and
that's
Blu-ray are going to
scary.
be like vinyl, so they're going to be pricey pretty soon. So you're going to jump on that.
Absolutely. All right. We're ready for the where should we start with? The Yellow Ranger hoodie or the Pink Ranger pants?
Go with the Yellow Ranger hoodie.
Yellow
Let's see
Ranger
who's up.
hoodie it is. All right. The winner of the Yellow Ranger hoodie is I'm gonna say Sierra White. Sierra White, you will be contacted shortly. You are the winner of the Yellow Power Ranger hoodie. Congratulations. And now for the Pink Ranger pants. We just put all the people in the same box because we figured they'd want to win either one of these things. The winner is. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this. Um, Simon. I know it's not Simon. Perry. Potentially Sam. Sam Perry. You are the winner of the Pink Ranger pants, and we will contact you shortly. Thank you, Mike. Now for the big one. This is for the Power Ranger Blue Ranger pant and hoodie set.
Yeah.
You're gonna get both. The full attire. It looks remarkable. It's freaking amazing.
Well, the cool thing is this isn't the whole thing. So everyone who didn't win in all the boxes, we're gonna put everything in one, and then we're gonna pull one more out, and they're gonna win the signed JDF card and the 2 dog tags with it.
Nice.
Wow. There you go. So for anybody who doesn't win the raffle, you'll be put into a second prize drawing for the Jason David Frank dog tag and autograph. You said autograph?
Yes.
This has the most tickets by far. Wow.
Yeah,
There's a few hundred tickets in here. This is amazing. Okay. This is it. Blue Ranger set.
Drum
Top
roll,
and bottom.
please.
Hope it's legible.
Good luck to everybody. Can I get a drum roll, please?
I can.
The winner of our
Ted
final.
Kalunga.
My wife, how does she? No, the winner of the Power Ranger Blue Ranger athletic wear set is. This guy's gonna be thrilled. Whoever this is, Jose Garcia. Jose Garcia, you are the winner
Nice.
of our Blue Ranger set. For a second, I was like Jose on our team, but no, different last name. How did Jose get in there? Awesome. And like Ray mentioned, we're gonna take all the rest of these tickets and give away those other items for you guys. So thank you guys so much for stopping by the booth, playing all the games with us. A bunch of people won Funkos, action figures, wrestling figures, movie passes, Oreo cookies that were
Big,
Star Wars
massive
themed.
Furiosa magnets.
Yeah.
Those are fun. People love those.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they made those in the first place, but yeah, we took a stack from the studio and we're like, we can give these out at Superhero, and they were a huge hit. So yeah, awesome. We will contact all those winners tonight.
Very cool.
Gabe's in the chat saying, "Yo, what's going on,
What's
Gabe?"
going
And Stacy says, "Congratulations, well done, Stacy." Awesome. Let's kind of talk about a few of the final big moments from the event. And also, real quick, anybody watching right now, do turn on notifications for the Countdown City Geeks channel, because later on this week, we will be giving away tickets, advanced screening tickets to the movie Twisters, featuring Glenn Powell, the great cast. And
Daisy
I
Edgar
was-
Jones.
I was very skeptical when I heard there was a sequel coming, but it looks intense. It looks exciting. And I think the most recent trailer, they play it as like a YouTube channel, because Glenn Powell's like, "Hey, what's going on, chat? We're the tornado chasers," or whatever. I'm like, this is so brilliant. Playing it like as a what's it called, a YouTube streamer or like an influencer. Like, of course, there's got to be at least a dozen tornado chasers who are like, streamers right now. And I'm like, this is so smart. So I really can't wait to see what they do with it. But that giveaway for those screening tickets are coming later this week, and we will announce what cities are going to be participating and how we're going to be giving those away very soon.
I want to throw this quick aside in real quick.
Please.
Because the main actress, whatever her name is, Daisy Edgar Jones, she was in where the Crawdads Sing or something like that. But also, if anybody's familiar with a show on Hulu called Normal People, if you haven't seen it and you want to be emotionally devastated, go check it out. It's a series. It's like 10 episodes from BBC 3, but they're like at an island. Anyways, in the in the Hulu show, she's from Ireland. She has her accent. In the trailers for this movie, like a lot of actors from Europe and stuff do, like Spider-Man does, they put on that American accent, and it sounds really good, But I feel like to really throw this movie over the top, everyone else in their Midwest accents, her with her Irish accent, I think it'd be great. Just a personal aside, I would love to see that.
I agree. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Cannot wait to see that movie. And again, those giveaways we're going to announce them later on this week. We're just waiting on the green light from the studio, and yeah, it'll be awesome. Um, Other moments from superhero that we want to kind of talk about. Um, Trying to think of one right now.
Awesome, Zach. Love it.
What's it called? Zach, my American accent is on point, says Zach. That is awesome.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
For a personal thing, look, doesn't always mean it comes across. You never know. But like from a personal standpoint, getting to take pictures with Diane Guerrero, Leah Thompson. We wound up going in, me and Ray, and we pulled in Jose on one with Iman Vellani, which is
great.
super cool. And then, I mean, we don't even have to go into that much, but those free autographs, I don't know if that's ever been done at a con before that I've ever heard of. And people loved it to the point where apparently, it was the first time. It was a great thing, but like it was packed over there. People were like waiting to get in line to be like 20 minutes, like to just get in the area for certain people. A great thing, I hope it's something we keep up. I'm sure maybe, little tweaks to that little system or whatever. But such an amazing idea. Like I know Tommy, got in on several of his own, Peter Weller. I know like Sam Jones had a lot of people there. So just a really cool idea that they did. And I hope it keeps up. And it just popped in my head. Another one we didn't talk about because I'm not as familiar with the actor's name as with what he does. The guy who plays King Aegon from House of the Dragon, which by the way, we got like 30 minutes into his panel was amazing because you see him on the show, and obviously he has to look like that Targaryen look. But then you see him in the panel with his his scruffy beard and his kind of shaggy hair, and to hear him talk about that, because it's really easy to hate that character on the show, then to see the guy like, oh, okay, that's really awesome what you're doing with that character. So I know you asked him, like, is there anything you can tell him? What was his response?
He said, y'all see the red laser on my chest right now?
Yeah.
Alluding to like HBO's about to snipe me.
Snipe him at me, yeah.
We got a sniper in the rafters. And we talked about that. We're just like, I know HBO's got spies around here, but I'll keep you safe and away from any danger. So yeah, his response was that this next season is going to be very tasty.
Right. And when you had done the panel, it had just been episode 1 had happened the week before. We had not seen episode 2 because that was the Sunday night. So yeah.
It was the perfect alignment of the stars.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the first season, he's not asked to do a whole lot in that role. And
because he doesn't come in till like later with the time jumps and stuff,
Absolutely. Yeah. And so season 2 just aired the premiere episode, and then we have him on stage like a few days later.
Yeah.
And the way they ended the first episode was just bonkers.
Yes.
So having to get a chance to talk to him, who he may arguably be one of the most important characters of the season, was incredible. So yeah, he was fantastic. There was a lot of folks who are fantastic. I'm not going to forget to mention Diane Guerrero.
Yeah.
I was going to host her panel last year. She had to cancel to my much to my disappointment. So getting to talk to her this time was amazing. She's so sweet. She's so fantastic. She doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
She's very open. And then to like even up the ante a little bit, not a bunch of my guests were doing like impressions while on stage, but she would, launch herself back into her old Maritza character
Maritza from Orange
from
is the New Black.
Orange
Yeah.
is the New Black. And so when she's, pulling off the Chicana voice or whatever, it was amazing and the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
So she was just fantastic, and she's also stunning, so that
Yeah.
adds a little bit to it as well. But
Uh,
she's so sweet, and my daughter loves Encanto, and my daughter loves Isabella. It's her favorite character. So we got like 5 minutes the next day to go talk to her, and she signed Isabella photo for my daughter, which was
awesome.
really cool. So won't ever forget it. What a sweetheart.
Yeah. Quick story with that. WrestleCaster and Geekcaster JC, as we said earlier, was in Disney over that weekend. Literally earlier that day, he was at Magic Kingdom. Sends me a picture. He bought the Bruno Green poncho. Right, he buys the thing, and he went to take a picture with the main one's Maribel, right, or the curly haired main
Mirabel, yeah.
character, Mirabel. Yeah, there you go. So he takes a picture with her, right, and he sends it to me earlier in the day. Then later in the day, I go and I take a picture with Diane Guerrero in her line. So I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! Like you took a picture with Maribel, and I took a picture with Isabella." I was like, "What are the odds?" But no, yeah, super cool. She was real nice. And I honestly didn't know because someone mentioned it backstage, and then later when I went to go get an autograph, someone had the book, the story of her parents and dealing with them getting deported and the stuff she's kind of gotten involved with since that happened is really cool. So yeah, like a lot of stuff, and then like I have a cousin who loves her character in Doom Patrol. So I know y'all got into a little bit of that, but yeah, just overall really fun.
So cool. So glad got a chance to meet her, see her in person. Just the absolute best. Seriously, like everyone we talked to, such great spirits. Like they knew what they were getting into. Uh,
We went against the family rules, but it's okay.
we sure did.
We
Rule
we-
number one of Fight Club is you don't talk about Bruno,
Hey, we need Bruno next year.
right?
Oh, okay.
Bruno, who was John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
I would
we
love
need him.
that.
Yeah.
Dude is a legend.
Yep.
Absolute legend. I'm trying to remember who else I talked to. Like Tom, you mentioned Tom Glenn Carney. He was freaking amazing. Had a blast talking to him. The
You
Oh my
did
gosh.
Tom Clementif in the Coliseum, which I think was your first one over there, right?
That was my first one in the Coliseum. Yeah, Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think a lot of people they all kind of recognized that was my most challenging panel. English is not her first language, but she does speak it,
Right.
fairly well.
Oh wow.
And I think that was also, I think she was also really kind of uncomfortable when we first started, and you see her open up more and more as the panel got further into it. She started laughing more, she started elaborating more on her responses, and I wish we had started out that way, but we ended up on a really good note. It didn't start on a good note, it started kind of like stumbling, but we got to a point where like it was fun and she had a good time. So that's all I can ask for. Zach's in the chat saying Mantis is hot. She's also a complete badass. Like if you go to her Instagram, she's jumping out of planes, she's popping wheelies on dirt bikes, she's racing through the mountains on horseback. Like she is the female version of Tom Cruise. Like we're gonna see her jumping off a mountain off a dirt bike probably in this next Mission Impossible film or doing something on that level. And Zach says, and no, and I'm just saying we got to recognize she is a complete action star, and that's pretty awesome. Zach's like, yeah, that's even hotter. There you go. Yeah, she's a complete badass. Can't wait to see what she does next. Leah Thompson
Mhm.
probably had the most energy, like right out the gate,
Oh
and
yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of her recent stuff, but she was a huge hit with the fans, and they
Oh
know
yeah.
like all these other projects. The series Switch That Birth is a big hit with fans. I probably had the most questions about that series, which I'm not even familiar with, but we got through it really well, and she was ecstatic like the entire time. She was dancing on
Yeah.
the way out and the way off of the stage,
Uh,
dancing. It was pretty awesome.
very similar energy to Ming Na Wen from last year.
Oh
Just
my god, yeah.
looks way too amazing for their age, way too much energy. Just like, yeah, you're like super fun.
And Zach, no apologies necessary, man. I totally get it. He's he's Gaga for Mantis. I think we all are too. She
We all
was.
have different people we are like that. We got you.
We got it, man. We got you.
Yeah, I wish I could have
Yeah.
been at her panel because I mean, I wanted to ask a question about Space Camp. That movie, I don't know. Okay, I'm the old
no,
guy. Well, no, Mike. I think Mike, you're right
I
behind
love
me.
that movie too. We watched it when I was a kid. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was like it made you want to be an astronaut as a kid. Like, I
Yeah.
want to go to space camp, and it was like I wanted to ask about it. And then the cast for that movie
Yeah.
was, I mean,
Oh,
you got go ahead.
well, no, because this is kind of like a side note, but from that movie, you know how people always say that they get the Star Wars line wrong for Darth Vader, where he says, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah.
They use that joke in that movie,
Yes, they
and
do.
it's my thought that that's where that misconception comes from. Because when the kids, like in the airlock out in space, he's like,
Yes.
"Luke, I am your father." So I feel like it's one of those things where people saw that as a kid and think like, "Oh, that's the line," but it's not. I don't know. Sorry, just a side thing that always pops up when I talk about Space Camp.
No, but
But
I
yeah,
mean the cast of that show,
yeah,
that movie was just, I mean, Phoenix, seeing young Phoenix in there, you know what I mean? It was just crazy. Loved it. Anyway, I had wanted a question about that,
no,
but
with you right there.
yeah, I didn't
Z-
get a chance to.
Zach's in the chat saying, "Don't get me started on Ming." Listen, bro. You know, I say Palm was my most challenging one this year. Ming was my most challenging one last year for different reasons because she decided to get up and start dancing like in front of me, and I was just like, "What is going on right now?" And I was trying to like play it off and stuff, but yeah, completely lost all focus when she was doing that. And then she started like semi flirting afterwards. And I'm just like, Stop right now. I cannot get through the rest of this panel if we go down this road." So
Ted, come on, why are you
she's
shocked? Again,
hilarious.
we've seen the Sasha Kaya photo from the Flash premiere, right? Zach. Well, between you and your wife, buddy.
And Ming will be back. Ming will be back for SpaceCon San
Yeah,
Antonio. So I'm gonna talk about that event before
that's
we
a whole
end the
nother
stream.
show we need to go. Yeah,
Jesus, that's gonna be bonkers. Like
I think that one's gonna be more crazy than this one was.
maybe.
in that it's a high bar to pass up, but you might be right. Um, let's see what else. Another great moment for me was having Ernie Hudson patch in 3 new members to the San Antonio Ghostbusters charity group. It was something we didn't tell them, which we thought was going to be fitting. And again, I talked about Ernie at the beginning of the stream. I asked him, I said, "We have this idea. I'm going to give you these patches, and we'd like for you just to hand them off to these new people, these new cadets, these new group members." And I wanted to keep it simple. I'm not about to ask him to do a whole thing. So I said, if you just can just tell him, welcome to the team, I think that's all we got to do. And he was like, cool, we'll do it. And then he went out, and instead of just making it simple, he did this whole elaborate like welcome, and it was like a pep talk. He like got in their faces and was like, "All right, can you do this? Can we count on you? Can you save all these people?" And he's pointing to the audience. and I'm just loving every second of it. And you kind of see a lot of emotions going on in these new members in their faces. Part of them are like thrilled to be there. The other part of them were like slightly terrified about what's happening right now. It was complete shock to all of them, and the crowd understood the magnitude of what was happening by witnessing Ernie giving them their patches. So he gave the first two their patches, and then he gets to the final guy, and he says, "Oh, you, I've heard about you." And then he says, "Do you think he goes on? He goes on, and the final thing Ernie says is, "Do you think you can handle that?" And the response was the absolute perfect response. Um, Barlow is his name. He says, "If there's a steady paycheck in it, I can handle anything." And Ernie says, "That's what I'm talking about." And they shook hands. He gave him a patch, and it was really just tremendous. That meant the most to me, like personally, just because of that's our team here in San Antonio. Those guys I've known for a while. They've been asking to get kind of be official members of the group, and we were kind of always very vague, like, you just got to put in some time and put in some effort. There's no specific criteria, but when you're in, and it's going to happen sooner than later. So it meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to me that Ernie was willing to do that.
Also,
So
how often do you get the chance to pull a line out like that on the person who said it? I mean, and in a perfect fit, like that was awesome.
dude, so cool, so awesome. And Ernie's just, again, I asked him keep it simple, and he went all out, above and beyond, and that's just the kind of guy he is. Zach's in the chat saying Ming was the best part of the Boba Fett show. Hey, no arguments here. Ed says Andy's message in Gollum's voice was a highlight for me. Yeah, exactly. We showed it earlier. And I went into a little bit about how that moment came about. So if you get a chance to kind of rewatch this stream, Ed, I go into like how I put that into play and where the inspiration came from. It's a really cool story. It's all about how I met Andy back at San Diego. I think it was like 2017, maybe, or 2018. It was the year before Black Panther came out. I can't remember what year it was. But yeah, so Ernie, Ernie being amazing as always. Brandon Routh, I got to hang out with Brandon a little bit. I met him last year during his panel, and just kind of real quick, ran into him this year, and he was like, "Where do I know you from?" And I like hearing that sometimes. So I say a lot of places, but I said no. I moderated your panel last year. So Brandon's one of the nicest guys ever. A lot of these folks, I don't know how, if it's like a criteria that like Bob and team kind of make them do a test or something, but he just brings like the coolest, nicest people to this con, and we just have a great time. Always.
Katie
Always.
Lutz, that's another one we did.
Oh my God. How can I forget about Katie?
Yeah.
Homegirl was 7 months pregnant. Waddling around everywhere and didn't complain, didn't, I heard no stories about her sort of like being short with fans or anything like that.
No, do you have our picture with her by chance?
I sure as hell do.
Because
Let me pull that up.
that was a great picture from the weekend.
I can't remember how that came about. Was
I
it
I think you just like I think either you or just Tommy had just asked if we could get a group picture, and she wasn't real formal about it. So pull it up, and we were like,
well, I don't know who started the pose. If somebody said, "Hey, we should do this pose," or if she just started it right
I
off the
think it
bat.
was her because like we don't normally ask to do like something like that. Like it just kind of happens. And I think she just kind of went down into that look, and then the rest of us were just like,
We got to do a mock album cover and put a title on it, and
I
put a
think
parental advisory sticker in the corner.
I think one of our WrestleCast friends, Jason, put that picture up, and it was like name the group or whatever. He named the rap group. But no,
It's
she was super awesome too, and loved hearing the stories about being kind of a part of several different Arrowverse shows throughout as it changed. So, and I think you asked her one. I think you asked her about the David story or something like that, because you had David on Thursday, and you had her like on Saturday. But yeah, super
yeah,
fun, especially like I know you can't always do the panels where they connect from the shows, but it is kind of cool to hear them, like if they're connected to shows later when you kind of ask them about that, back about that or whatever. So
absolutely. She was fantastic, and again, 7 months pregnant, going around, still having the energy to go throughout the day. We're not carrying humans in our bellies, and we're still
just looks like
tired.
it.
And she's able to kind of walk around, and it's hot as hell outside in Texas, and
Jesus, was
so,
it?
huh?
I said, "Oh, geez, was it?"
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, more power to her. She was a doll, and she's expecting in August is when she's due. So yeah, she'll be having little bundle of joy pretty soon. All right. I had no idea this stream had gone on as long as it has. So I think it's about time we end it here, and we got to go watch House of the Dragon before somebody spoils it online for me.
Yeah, there you go.
But before we do, if you haven't already heard, we are not done this year yet. Arguably, the biggest event that's going to happen pretty soon is SpaceCon San Antonio. Now, this is an old photo, and I'll explain in a second. But October 25th and 26th, here at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Halls, where we had the Superhero Comic Con, we are bringing all of these amazing Star Trek celebrities. The only one who's changed is actually Jonathan Frakes, who had, I think, something else that he had to do that weekend. So unfortunately, he had to back out. But Bill Shatner, Gates McFadden, Brent Spiner, John Delancey, Todd Stashwick, Robert Duncan McNeil, and for all you folks saying, where are the Star Wars guests? They got you covered. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Rosario freaking Dawson, all going to be under one roof this October. We're just 4 months away, almost 3.5 months away from this event, and I could not be more excited. That's not everybody. Like, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. So if you want more information, go to www.spaceconsa.com. And Ed's already in the chat saying the Star Wars Holy Trio, crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely. Zach's in here saying, "Get in my belly. I want my baby back, baby back ribs." Classic Austin Powers line. Yeah, SpaceCon SA is going to be fantastic. Zach says, makes me want to be in Texas. Bro, if you get a chance, however you got to get here, get here. It'll be absolutely worth it. I promise you that.
I
It's
hope
going to be
Todd does a
bonkers.
panel.
Say it again.
I hope Todd Stashwick does a panel. I mean, we got to
Yeah,
interview him prior to him taking the role as Captain Shaw, in Star Trek Picard, and he became the iconic captain in that series.
yeah. Todd was a fan favorite as soon as that last season of Picard aired.
Yeah.
Huge automatic fan favorite. He had an incredible season. So there's a lot more folks that are going to the event. We strongly suggest you go. Again, more information, go to spaceconsa.com. We will be there doing our best, man. It's going to be a busy 3 days, but
But
we're
only
so
three,
stoked.
thankfully.
Yeah, only three is a very good thing. Zach says, Get out here with that Star Trek talk." Bro, Picard season 3 was epic. It's like must
Yeah.
see television. You got to check it out if
We're
you
we're
haven't
already
already.
putting plans in place to keep the peace between the Star Wars and the Trekkers. So we'll have to keep it. We'll have to keep them under wraps.
Yeah, this is the first of its kind. This is Star Wars. This is a Star Wars Star Trek convention. I don't know how if it's ever been attempted on this level, but absolutely, this is what this is turning out to be, and we're all here for it. More Marvel guests to be announced. More, I think there might be some DC guests to be announced. There's going to be, I think, Battlestar folks announced. Stargate SG1 celebrities have already been announced. Go check out the guest list. Come back and tell us who you're excited to meet. My daughter's here, so I got to get going. Congrats again to all of our Super X Power Rangers athletic wear winners. You will be contacted shortly. I think that's it. Don't forget, later on this week, we're going to be announcing the giveaway for the Twisters advanced screening coming up very, very soon. We'll tell you guys how to win that. Turn on notifications so you can find out how. For the Countdown City Geeks, my name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this live stream is the one and only Retro Ray.
Peace, guys.
And going live later this week with the Countdown City WrestleCast, the one, the only, Big Mike.
As I always say, be good to each other, guys. See y'all later.
Take it easy, folks. Shout out to everybody in the chat, including Zach, as well as Ed. You guys were awesome. Zach says, be careful. My Schwartz is bigger than theirs. And Ed says, you guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. We appreciate all of you guys. Have a great night. And may the force be with you.
And also with you. Oh.
Peace.